Shalom, more praise to Yahweh Shem Shah, double line to Apostle GMS. I'm now Olive connecting the video, and this is the final installment of the show I started like a week ago. Be not soon shaken in mind. So I already gave you the history of the Apostle Paul with the Thessalonians. Last thought from part one, and then we went into First Thessalonians, different chapters with the First Thessalonians 4, with the First Thessalonians 5. We went to Acts the 17th chapter and his interaction with the Thessalonians. We went to the synagogues. So here's part 4, which is the video. Here's the part 4, the final part. All right, about Apostle Paul and the Thessalonians and why he was dealing with them the way he was dealing with them. In other words, why he was writing the things that he was writing about the second coming of the Lord, and he's going to come as a thief in the night and things of that nature. So let's get right to it. 2 Thessalonians 2:1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter from us. So they gather together, right, for the purpose of Yahweh Shai. Now, ultimately, the gathering of the believers together is when we're going to be gathered up. No willing we not elect. When we're going to be gathered up together in the clouds, pursuing the 1 Thessalonians 4:17. That's ultimately the gathering that's going to occur in the end. When we're gathered up in the clouds to the chariots, which is what ignorantly called UFOs, in order for us to be delivered from the destruction of Babylon the Great, which is America, by way of thermonuclear destruction in the coming Third World War. But as of now, they're gathering together, to hear the epistle, the letter of the Apostle Paul. Now he's saying, now that we gather together, right, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled neither by spirit. So whether it's someone saying that they were given a revelation, nor by word or a rumor that you may hear by word of mouth, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Yahweh Shai is at hand. Now why would he say that? Nor by word, nor by letter as from us. Because you had people that was out there forging letters, claiming there was something written by the Apostle Paul. That's what the Apostle Paul said, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, meaning nor by letter as is from us, as if it was from us. So don't be troubled neither by spirit, where the person claims they got a spiritual revelation, nor by word, whether it's something you hear from word of mouth, nor by letter as from us, or nor by letter as if it was written from us, meaning Apostle Paul, Silas, Timothy. Don't be soon shaken in mind, because you had people out there that was doing that. They were forging letters saying it was written by the Apostle Paul. Matter of fact, real fast, for example, this is 1 Corinthians 16:21. The salutation of me, Paul, with my known hand. See? Why would he have to say with my known hand? Look at the word salutation real fast.
Strong's G 783. Aspasmas.
Aspasmas. A salutation, either oral or written. Greetings. Right? Now when you go to Galatians 6:11, what does it say? Ye see how large a letter I have written unto you with mine own hand. See that once again. 2 Thessalonians 3:17, the salutation of Paul with mine own hand, which is the token in every epistle, so I write. This is Philemon 1:19. I, Paul, have written it with mine own hand. I will repay it, albeit I do not say to thee how thou owest unto me, even thine own self besides. Now let's go back to Thessalonians. Now when you go back to 2 Thessalonians 3:17, it says the salutation or greeting of Paul with mine own hand, which is the token in every epistle, so I write. So guess what? When he says the salutation of Paul with my own hand, which is the token in every epistle, so I write, what he's saying is the greeting of the Apostle Paul, the salutation or greeting of the Apostle Paul, was written as a token or a sign in every epistle that was written. In other words, it was written in the manner in which, for it to be, the greeting was written to show that this proves that this is the Apostle Paul's letter. See, the salutation to Paul with mine own hand, which is the token in every epistle, so I write. So it was written, so that greeting to the Apostle Paul was a token in the letters that he wrote, to prove that they were not forgeries.
Strong's G 4592, Semayan.
Semayan. And that's the reason why in all those different epistles it was written like that. See? A sign, mark, token, that by which a personal thing is distinguished from others and is known. See? That by which a person is distinguished from others or is known. So those greetings were things that the Apostle Paul had wrote in his letters. I can go a little bit deeper into that, but I might say that for another time. So it was written in a way to show that, see, that was written there to show that what? These letters were not forgeries. Those salutations or greetings that the Apostle Paul put in his letters was written there so that's a sign that it's not a forgery. Because why? You had letters being forged. That's why you can write in 2 Thessalonians 2:2, it says that ye be not soon shaken in mind, nor be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Yahushua is at hand. So for him to say don't be troubled by spirit, meaning as if these people had a spiritual revelation, nor by word, as if you heard it from word of mouth, nor by letter, as from us, a fourth letter, as that the day of Yahushua is at hand. So the Apostle Paul is saying is why. He's saying it because they had to have actually been shaken in mind by these things. People had to have been claiming they got a spiritual revelation, claiming that the day of the Lord is at hand. They heard the word of mouth, the day of the Lord is at hand. People have gotten read letters that was forged saying the day of the Lord is at hand. So we're telling them, don't worry about that. Don't be concerned about it. Okay? Don't be concerned about it. In fact, I'll read into a little bit. Here's a word called
amanuensis.
Amanuensis. Right? And amanuensis, plural amanuenses. And an amanuensis is a person employed to write or type what another dictates. So the Apostle Paul would dictate these things, and it will be written. Right? Dictate these things to be written. Or to copy manuscripts, essentially serving as a literary assistant, secretary, or scribe. Their role includes taking dictation, transcribing, or providing accessibility for individuals with disabilities to record spoken thoughts. Key responsibilities. Remember, Apostle Paul was in prison. Key responsibilities or roles: dictation and transcription, recording spoken words quickly and accurately, often like a stenographer, like a person in court that's typing stuff down. Accessibility aid, acting as a scribe for individuals who cannot write due to illness, injury, or disability, particularly during examinations. Literary research assistance, assisting authors, academics, or composers with drafting, copying, or organizing written materials or musical scores. I'll read a little bit more, and I'm ended there. History and etymology. Origin. The term derives from Latin, literally meaning servant of the hand or from the hand, stemming from ab manus. Historical context. Historically, they were often enslaved Greeks, providing secretarial services in ancient Rome. See, that's Apostle Paul's time. Famous users included John Milton, who used family members to record his poetry, including Paradise Lost after losing his sight. Paradise Lost was a poem written by John Milton in 1677. And I'm going to end it here. I'm going to start from verse 20 to verse 22. So the Apostle Paul was, had to tell it to the Thessalonians. Listen, man. That's why he said in Acts 17, the church of Berea was more noble than those in Thessalonica, because they studied the scriptures daily. So you had to keep telling them, listen, the day of the Lord is not at hand yet. This is how the day of the Lord going to happen. That's why you go to Thessalonians 4 and 5. I went to that previously. Romans 16, verse 20 to 22, and I'm ended there. And the power and the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of our Lord Yahushua, the anointed, be with you. Tawab. So let it be. Romans 16:21. Timotheus, my workfellow, and Lucius, and Jason, and Sosipater, my kinsmen, salute you. I, Tertius, who wrote this epistle, salute you in the Lord. See? Go to Tertius.
Strong's G 5060, Tertius.
Tertius third. Amanuensis, you went to that, right? Of Paul and writing the epistles to the Romans. The Apostle Paul had people write things down as he dictated them. So with that, I'm going to close and say, praise the Yahweh Shem Yahshua, double honor to the Apostle GMS. I hope you learned something. Shalom.